Kaya, welcome again to ingwethu Makwande. Apho sithola ulwazi khona sizanisa. Namhlanje sizothetha ngento ebizwa inzalo ehlanganisiwe, which is compound interest. My name is Nogozola Kamlana and welcome. I do have with me, your people who know the best. Ubabu Begu Isendlobu and also Ukuma, who are gonna try and unpack this word for us and better give you understanding of it. Ukuma, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Hi everyone. Hi Hazel. Hi Mr. Ndlovu. Yeah, I'm good.
Biggie.
How are you? Myself, I'm good, and your viewers as well. It's good to see you once more again.
Yes. So let's talk about this word then. What can you tell us about this word, compound interest? What is it?
Okay, I think with the English word there, it speaks for itself. Compound is where something is compounded. So we show corner in our investments, or when we speak of investments, it simply speaks about there is a principal amount and then there is the accumulated interest combined together. So once you combine those two, the principal amount and the accumulated interest, and then they continue compounding. So it's not just you are getting interest from your principal amount, we are now also getting interest from the accumulated interest. So it's put together, compounded together, and then it gives you an outcome.
Okay. So, like you did say, which is kulmange capital, which is imali away.
Yeah.
And then umake manje sengifaka kuma investment inenzalo eyitholayo.
Yeah.
Sithatha leyo nzalo leyo sithatha nemali engihlanganiswe ezithola ke inhlanganiso inzalo. All right.
So I don't know, just for an example, let's say you have a savings tin, a piggy bank rather,
Okay.
and then we'll save 100 rand, right? So if in a compound interest, what's going to happen is that you're going to put your 100 rand in your piggy bank, and then with the, let's say for example you have a 10% interest on the year, right?
Okay.
So below 100 rand ifakileyo, the 10% interest will be 10 rand, right?
Okay.
So now imali onayo in your
Piggy bank.
piggy bank now with the interest, the total is 110.
Yeah.
Right? And then to go to the compounding, what happens is that instead of getting 10 rand for every year for the 10%, what happens is that the 10% now is compounded on the 110 that you have in the piggy bank in total. Ne? So that will bring that's 10% of 110 is 11 rands, right? So now in your piggy bank you have 121 rand.
Okay.
Ne?
Okay.
Yeah. So if it was a simple interest, what's going to happen is that you put 100 rand, and then you're going to get 10 rand this year, 10 rand next year, 10 rand the other year, meaning that you only have 130 after 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with the simple interest, with the compound interest, you see now that your interest itself earns its own bit of interest as well. So yeah, I think that's I don't know.
That's the best explanation of it.
So in figures, yeah, that's exactly what Kuna is saying. Yes.
Okay, so imbuzo uthi amabhangi ingabe wona abadala simple interest noma compound interest uma ngabe ke uinvesta ngapha?
Okay, so different institutes, they've got different products. So across the board, it's now depending on what product do you have. But I think what is most common, almost every institute, is like I'm speaking of reputable institutes. What is most common is they use the principle of compound interest. So that principle is what actually is more attractive to the investors out there, because every investor wants to know if because remember what's most important, It's not about timing the market
Mm.
when you are getting into compound interest. It's about time in the market. And compound interest works perfectly with time in the market. Yes, sometimes there are moments where one can try to time the market. When I say time the market, I mean when you enter into an investment.
Okay.
All right. Like for instance, when we had our 2008 thingy, recession, the markets they fell. But that was also a perfect time to go into the investment.
Okay.
But with an ideal objective of maximizing with compound interest by having so much time in the market, meaning planning for long run, because compound works perfectly in the long run. It works perfectly long term. It's not something that you go into and then before your investment gets compounded, you exit. I don't know if I'm answering. So most companies, in terms of products, they use the compound interest. Though I would want to say there's what we call mostly across board. They might have a certain portfolio with also that portfolio is generating growth onto investment. But yet at the same time, as that portfolio generates growth, underlying it is still compound interest at play. You see. So most banks or most institutes, insurances and so forth, they use that concept because they want it to look lucrative for their clients, so that it's attractive for their clients, so that their clients can actually benefit.
So ke mina ngiyazi kanjani babheki ngiyafika and I want to invest. How do I differentiate ukuthi investment inayo compound interest noma ayinayo? Is that what I'm looking for?
All right, so there are many things at play. Hence I say ukuthi
I don't know how to know unless you've been disclosed, it has been fully
Disclosed to you, ne?
All right, so the most important thing is when you sit with the client, first understand your client's objective.
Okay.
First understand whether they want an investment or product which is liquid. When I say which is liquid, is meaning if ever they want to exit, are there any restrictions or not?
Kusho ukuthi like uma ngabe sengifuna uku-investa mhlambe i-10,000 but ngifuna nje ihlale lapho for 2 years.
Yeah.
So is it that type of client?
So that's that's the type of the
Of
client, and then based on their term of that investment for that client, you see which isikhathi leyo client awunikeza sona. It's not ideally to have the money to fully compounded.
Okay.
You see now, because the time frame is key. Hence I said, Okaleni, it's about time in the market, not timing the market.
Okay.
You see, so you need to have an advisor who will advise you accordingly, and then recommend certain products that will match your need and your goal. I would hazard to say, okay, this product, that's how it works. This product, that's how it works. This is what is suitable for your goal. So, ingakubeka kanjani.
All right, so Kimanje, because now you're talking about time in the market, it doesn't count.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Among those,
Because remember when we spoke about we spoke about entering early. Now that's the beauty about compound interest. When you enter early with the long-term goal in mind, and then that's where compound interest really gets into play. You see, that's where that's the type of investment vehicle it actually suitable for compounding
Okay.
because we are speaking long term. You understand? So even if you were to take 100,000, you put it now, take the same 100,000, you put it in 5 years. That 100,000 that you put 5 years before will always outbeat the 100,000 that you put 5 years. Even if you put in the same product fund, same fund, same rules, everything, same returns. Let's just say the returns are all at 10%. The other one will never catch up. It will never catch up because compound is already in play with the first one that you put in.
All right, so kule veki ephelileyo besikhulume ngeprofile yobungozi babheki nochuma, and then bengifuna ukwazi khona manje ukuthi okay, does that also play ukuthi iprofile yami ihamba kuphi na? Does that also affect the compound interest? Ukuthi iprofile yami ngikhetha mhlawumbe something that's ukuthi ayikho aggressive, will that affect?
Okay. I don't know if you know.
I do not have the answer.
All right.
I do not have the answer for this one.
When we look at your risk profile, and then we look at the funds that have been selected, you need to understand that on each investment, depending on which product or investment vehicle has been chosen, it will play into play. So if it's a normal fund, I know probably our viewers might not understand when we speak of underlying assets and then funds and so forth. But I'll simply say, if it's a normal fund, there will always be compound interest, whether you chose an aggressive fund or a moderate fund or a conservative fund. But it gets to differ when one goes into stock broking. Because stock broking as well, it's aggressive. It does not merely uses the compound interest per se, because there you are buying a share of a business directly. So now, depending on the share price, so what's happening there is that the share price is the one that is fluctuating. Like for instance, let's just say you buy shares at MTN. When you bought the shares at MTN, they were 15 rand, and you bought 10 shares. The number of shares there is not gonna go up unless if you buy more shares. But the price of the shares is the one that is gonna go up and down. So in that scenario, we cannot necessarily say compound interest is at play, because there is determined by the share price. So when you invest in shares, it's aggressive because anything can happen, but at the same time, the share price can gain in value. You understand? So it's not necessarily compounding, because what you bought is the shares, and if you've got 10 shares, you've got 10 shares. If you've got 100 shares, you've got 100 shares. The only difference there now is that is the share pricing go up or is it going down? You understand? So it's different when we're speaking our normal investments, where you are investing in a particular fund. You understand?
Okay.
Was, yeah.
Kuma, would you want to add?
Like I said before, I was waiting for the answer. Because I also was on the edge with knowing whether, because like he said now, but if he shares Z10, then there's only 10 shares. And if those shares are worth 100 rand each, then they're worth 100 rand each. So I was also always wondering to myself, especially when you spoke about your time in the market, I was also wondering, but does it not like factor in some sort of interest in between, like when you are holding, let's say, these shares for the last 5-10 years? So is there no sense of interest that is gained? It's only like the share price that determines the value of the total investment at the end. So yeah, like I think he has explained it, so yeah, I'm comfortable.
No, awesome. So that's in your talks I've heard already which is in Kulumila my disadvantages, so I can't factor it in the question again. But if you can maybe for our viewers, in case they missed it as you were talking, what am I disadvantage with compound interest in?
Disadvantages. I think I wouldn't classify it as a disadvantage, but like what Baby said, you only see the effects of compound interest at the end of like that specific term, right? So I think it's only a disadvantage for people who think that maybe a short-term investment will suffice in terms of compounding and that they will get maybe proper returns out of that. Yeah, but I wouldn't say there is, I don't know.
So the disadvantage is because of the perception certain clients or investors have. Certain people have got a perception of a rich, quick scheme mentality. People want to be rich or make or join into something where they want to make returns as quickly as possible. I will say, according to the rules of life and the laws of life, it's highly unlikely. It's not within the principles of nature for you to go into something and expect to get a reward now in the immediate. So anytime you see anybody or anyone presenting to you that put in your money and then within a few days in Yana, I guarantee you, triple.
Yeah.
If you are a normal person, or if you understand investments, really you need to tell yourself that something is wrong. Because look at it, anything in life in general, you had to stay 9 months in your mother's womb. There is a time frame that you had to stay. It wasn't quick. You are conceived today, you are born tomorrow. Never happens. Look at the tree. You plant it today, especially if you plant an avocado tree. Plant an avocado tree today. I'm telling you, you'll only eat the fruit in only 7 years or so.
Wow.
Your first fruit. Even if it's a mango tree, if it's an orange tree, or whichever other tree, the fruits will only be available in a couple of years. You see now. So that's the nature of life. You can't plant today and expect good returns, good results today. So for those people who are on the quick kind of journey with their wealth, unfortunate, it never happens like that. That's the only disadvantage that I can come up with compounding. But on the upside, it is the best. It is the best in the long run. So that's why your people or clients, when you speak with them, you need to understand what's the objective. What is it that you want to achieve? When do you want to achieve? And then when you make the recommendation, they should understand that this thing is for a long term. Yeah.
No angazi ngane emakhaya ukuthi niyazizwela ukulinda ngesinye isikhathi yikho kubalekile ukudlula ukuthola whatever you get inside now, you know. Yeah, akuna instant gratification here. Okay, so ubuchuma bese ke sichazisele kabanzi bese sicalculate le yona ne ukuthi ikhula kanjani angazi noma nimzwile na chuma. Can you give us another example?
Another one. I think that was the most simplest one.
It was.
But I don't know if maybe you're going to want to show them the formula, maybe at the end or in
that would be
between.
nice.
You'll post the formula for them. But like I said before, simple interest, we'll start with the simple interest. Simple interest, you put in 100 Rand in your savings pocket. By the end of the year, let's say the interest is 10%, you've gained 10 Rands on your investment. And then the following year, you still gain 10 Rands on the same investment, meaning that by the end of year 2, you have 120 Rand in your savings pocket, right? So now you go to compounding. Compounding interest, you'll take that 100 Rand that you got for the same interest rate that you have. After a year, you have 110, right? But now, after the second year, what happens is that the interest that you gain now is no longer only based on the 100 rand, it's based on 110 rand,
Nice.
right?
Okay.
So from that you get 11 rand extra, meaning after year 2 you have 121. So just because maybe I've used a short period, the difference there is 1 rand, right? But if you go on across the years, 5 years, you'll notice that there is a significant amount of difference between the two, simple and compound.
Nice.
But then you'll put the two formulas at the end.
Yes, definitely. We will have that up for you. And if you do have any questions, please do post them in the comments. And remember to sign our Puppy Act if you want to find out more and want to be contacted. Guys, I don't know about you. I'm happy. Ngithole ulwazi today, you know, and I believe good to see Andisa. Is there anything that you'd like to add, Babegi, to our viewers?
All what I can say, start early, you'll earn good results. So the earlier you go into an investment, and if you really want to enjoy the compound interest, have that long-term view of an objective of achieving the best results. Because as I said again, I'll repeat, it's not about timing the market, but it's always about time in the market. Yes.
Time in the market. Stay there. So let's try it. Closing. All right. No, thank you so much for staying tuned in, and thank you so much. Join us next time. Makwande, Siandisa, Tolulwas.